guys, and welcome back. Today is a Sketching Tuesday, and I am actually going to sketch today, which is quite an accomplishment for me. I really tend to get stuck in finished pieces only kind of a mindset, so this will be good. But what I'm using today is I'm using Photoshop CC, and the hardware is a Wacom Cintiq 13HD for my tablet, so just a little bit of information as far as what I'm using and how I'm making this and everything. But I could actually use some of your help. So what I'm looking for is I would really like to get some suggestions on topics you'd like to hear me talk about. Anything that you'd like to hear my opinion on, or tips or tricks or anything like that at all that's art related. Please let me know what stuff you are interested in down in the comments. I would really like to move into having more topics to talk about specifically in videos, especially like this one, where I'm doing a piece that's pretty similar to a method that I've already done before. So I don't have to talk your ear off over similar things that I've already talked to you about. So it would be really helpful for me to know what kinds of things you guys would like to hear about, what things are interesting, what things you are thinking about right now. So that would be really appreciated. It would be something that I am excited about doing more of. I think it'll help me keep these videos a little bit fresher for you guys and for myself as well. But today I want to talk a little bit about sketching, and a little bit more specifically about giving up on sketches themselves. This is a problem that I've had for years and years, pretty much as long as I can remember, and I've only just started to realize and awaken to the problem that it is. So how I work a lot of times when I'm sketching is I'll sketch something out and it will be not perfect. It won't be right. Some things will be a little bit off. So when I look at that sketch overall, I get frustrated by it, or I at least do not see the value in continuing with that sketch because it doesn't look promising. And every once in a while I have a sketch that it's like, wow, this is really good. This is worth continuing. I'll keep working on this. But most of my pieces, my sketches that is, they start off much rougher and definitely not good looking. I think my first pass on this one is probably a little bit higher caliber than what they usually are. They usually are a lot rougher and a lot more out of whack as far as proportions and placement. And a lot of times, especially throughout when I was younger, middle school, high school, I would look at that sketch and immediately feel that it was time to move on, that I shouldn't work on that it wasn't good, that I need to try another sketch. I need to try again and make it even better on that very first pass. I have so many sketchbooks from that time period where I would draw a single eye and then I would move on to the next whole page, and it was a very wasteful mindset to begin with. But I've been realizing that the more that I push, this is going to seem very, very obvious, but it's something that I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of. But the more I push on a sketch, the more layers I do on it, the more development I do, the more reference I look up to supplement that sketch, the better it can be, even when it does start off where it doesn't feel as promising. This is something that I've seen and witnessed many times in finished pieces where I've gotten to a point where I feel that it's beyond saving. I need to start over and scrap it, and then I will force myself to keep working on it, redeem it, and in the end, I'm really happy with it. It turns into something good. This is exactly the principle in sketching, but I just haven't quite, or for a long time at least, I hadn't quite figured out what to see in my sketches, how to look at it objectively rather than looking at it as that first pass. It's not perfect. So I've been trying really hard to look at it as this is a first step. This is the basement level of my sketch. It does not have to be perfect. This is what I'm going to build on to make something that does look good. And once I started really thinking about, okay, this is not the first, this isn't the final, this isn't the look that people are going to get. This is what's going to help me structure it. And moving forward from that has actually really helped. It helps me see the value in sketches that are way rougher. It helps me decide which ones are genuinely worth moving on. If it has an interesting shape to it, or the concept is there, but the execution isn't quite there, that's something that I can refine. And if it's something that, say, the subject matter, I don't really have a good grasp on, it's not that interesting, then I know to move on from that. So I'm getting better and knowing which sketches are worth pursuing and which ones are worth starting over. And I've realized that quite a few of my sketches are worth continuing. They're worth putting more effort into and more layers on them. And in the end, I do end up with something that's much more productive than if I had skipped past it and jumped right into a new sketch. So really, I think this concept just comes down to not giving up on something before I've even given it time to develop. I just need to give it time, give it effort, see where it'll go. And I think that loosening my requirements on a sketch absolutely helps me get something that's worth doing. And a lot of times I'll do a sketch where it's the end product. I feel like, oh, well, that's not really exactly what I want to be doing, but I definitely learned from it. I did something weird and different and I enjoyed it and I learned from it. And that's valuable. And I find that when I'm loosening up what I require my sketches to be, I'm able to get more interesting results like that. And even though they're not something that I'm going to turn into a final product, they are definitely learning experiences for me. And that's absolutely the thing that I need to get better at. I work very much in a finished product, goal-oriented way. When I'm doing a sketch, it almost always, as of late at least, is with the intention of it being a finished piece. I'm sketching something because I need to work on this next project. I need to figure out the details. I need to get that down, and then I can work on the final. And I want to get much more into sketching for sketching purposes, for developing ideas overall, not just ideas for that final piece. So the more that I loosen my grip on what it has to be from the very beginning, the more I can put time into these sketches and the more I can see where it takes me. So really I just need to loosen up what I'm forcing it to be and let it be what it's going to be, or let it be what I feel like drawing at the time. And a lot of times I don't even know what I feel like drawing until I get into that sketch and I just work stream of consciousness, and then it ends up into something very unique from what I'm used to. And that is absolutely helpful for me, of breaking out of this little box that I'm in, of getting stuck doing the same stuff repetitively. When I'm working on these sketches that I don't feel are worth pursuing, when I force myself to work on them more, I see these final results that I would never have seen before. This one is kind of a good example for that. The first sketch that I had was something that I basically liked how it looked, but compositionally and subject matter-wise, it felt kind of bland. It felt like something I'd already done many times. So I was almost ready to give up on this sketch, start something new, and see if I could get something more interesting right off the bat. And I realized that I really need to work more at thinking through the initial idea. What can I add to it to make it more unique? Because a lot of times I'll get very stuck where I'm trying to think, oh, well, what's a unique idea that I can draw? And I'll try to look up a bunch of ideas. I'll look up references and I'll get stuck and I won't draw anything because I'm trying to think of an interesting idea to begin with. And I've found that I work way better when I have something to build on. So for this one, instead of starting over, instead of scrapping this and thinking, well, this isn't good enough, I need to try something new, I forced myself to think through, what can I do to this sketch to make it more special and more unique? And that little spark that makes it more interesting for me, it makes it a new thing that I can enjoy drawing. And once I thought through that, it definitely made this piece feel much more like it had a purpose and a destination, rather than feeling very dead end, which is how I feel for a lot of the sketches. And that's what I'm trying to move past. And so this one, I simply had the idea of one of his eyes melting, almost like a melty crayon. And that small little idea was just enough to give me a jump into this piece, into designing it and the composition. And those are the things that I'm looking for to build up on sketches that I feel ready to abandon. I need to think through, what is that one little spark of interest that I can add to this piece that will make it valuable and interesting for me to work on. And that's pretty much it for this video. Again, another reminder, if you do have any topics or ideas you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I'm really interested in knowing what you guys are interested in, so I can cater that a little bit more to what your interests are. So yeah, I would really love to hear what you guys would like me to talk about. I think that it'll be a lot more interesting for me as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But Again, that's it for today. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and please hit that bell if you are. Also, I update every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And if you'd like to support me, I do have a button in the description to my shop, as well as in the end card, that'll take you to all of the originals and prints and buttons that I have available. So that is it. That really is it. So I will see you guys at my next video.